Welcome to Bold Moves, the show spotlighting fearless trailblazers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries forging new paths across Arizona and beyond. Each episode, we dive deep into uplifting stories, game-changing strategies, and the unstoppable spirit powering real transformation. Whether you're launching a business, chasing a dream, or reshaping your community, get ready to unleash your boldness. Join your host, Matt Torres, as he sparks your imagination, amplify action, and help you thrive. So buckle up and let's ignite your boldest moves yet.
Alrighty, we are back with the Bold Moves podcast, and I have a very special guest. I have Arina Tannenbaum, and what's interesting is Arina is a social media content specialist, strategist. She helps small businesses with their social media growth, and I'm really excited to have her on the show. Arina, would you like to say hi and kind of tell everybody what you do?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Super excited. It's my first time podcasting, so it's exciting. I do content creation for small businesses in Arizona, and that is mostly video, but it does include social media management, ads, all that stuff, like content for ads. Anything content is me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about that because social media can be very scary to a lot of people, especially small businesses and a lot of small businesses that, are probably run by people that have a lot more wisdom, I would say, than most. And it can be a lot more intimidating. But yeah, no, it was funny because I'm also excited. This is your first podcast because very cool to be the first one for you. But it's funny when we talk about on this show, bold moves and things that we've done in our life that are a little bit scary or challenging. We're kind of afraid, to take that step. But I would like to kind of kick things off and, really kind of find that moment that captures the intensity of your journey. So can you kind of share what's one dramatic or pivotal moment that really sticks out with you? Something that totally made you just kind of stop in your tracks.
Well, I have had a few. But I guess you can hear my accent. I'm from Russia originally. Disclaimer, I didn't choose to be born there. I was from Russia, so no judgment. But the move itself was a very big thing for me. And I never knew I was going to move here. I actually kind of hated America in advance, given that I've never been here. But I study with a meditation and Buddhist teacher, and he is located here. So I would come back and forth. I would go to retreats. And this is was my first time seeing the States through the desert retreat, solitude cabin. That was my first impression of America. But then I moved over here and I met my future ex-husband and I stayed with him. This is how I moved. So through him. So that big move, actual move was from, the other side of the world to here. And
wow.
I guess the next thing was that it was very, very difficult relationships, on its own, apart from the move. And it took me a very long time to exit them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a whole, big thing, divorce and then all the papers. And that was terrifying. And that was probably my, up to date, that was the biggest move, emotional move that I made.
Yeah. For sure. How long ago was that? Did you move?
I moved here 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, gosh. So how, you don't have to give your age, but I was just curious, how old you were.
29. I'm 29 now, and I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the first 21 years of your life, you were in Russia. And
yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
What I'm curious, what kind of sparked that desire to kind of come over here?
Well, initially it was, just to see meditate and do my practice. But then I met the guy and I was well, it's not going to work. He's not moving to Russia. I'm not, we're not going to keep meeting like that. So that was the reason I moved for him.
Mm-hmm.
So leave everything behind. Of course I had plans. I never wanted to move anywhere. I mean, I thought I would move to Europe, but eventually, but this was a very drastic and fast change for me. So I'm going now, pack one suitcase and here I am.
What did you do for work when you were in Russia?
I was a marketer as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So was there any difference between marketing in Russia than there is in the US?
Yes, but it also was like 9 years ago,
Yeah.
9 years ago. So that's also a very
That's true.
different time period. But yes, like the mentality is absolutely different. So you do market differently. Like, it's like what they say about like how Russians don't smile and they're not that friendly, which might be true. They're very straightforward.
Yeah.
And for me, it's still a little bit of a challenge. Like my new husband, great husband, tells me like, don't be Russian, be nice, be soft, because I'm used to just like not wasting people's time and be like right to their face and be like, this is your problem and your business. And some people don't like it. Some people get their feelings hurt. So to me, that's an adjustment still, and I'm working on it.
I think that's just in general with some people. Like, I know a lot of people who are not Russian who are, born here and are very direct and aggressive. And I think it's just a personality trait a lot of the times too.
True.
Like some people, were just kind of like, hey, deal with it, and then I kind of like to adjust sometimes too, so I can see that. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Do you ever plan on like going back to Russia or visiting, or do you just like have dual citizenship? Is that what they call it? Or?
Yes, I do. I did go like 6 months ago, so I went recently.
Oh, wow.
I don't go that often. Especially now, it's just hard to go there. But yeah, I mean, I visit sometimes. My family moved to Israel, so
wow.
yeah, so they're just kind of like away from what's going on there.
Yeah. There's not to get into the politics, but there's a lot going on over there. It's crazy. So let's talk about like that big leap. So like, what was like the risk that you took, and why did it matter so much to you at the time? And I know like we talked about the risk of coming over here, but like going into business in the US, like what was the risk for you there? Like, how did you deal with that?
I honestly like never had a choice. Like I was just not born to work for a company. I tried that for like, I think my longest was a month, and it doesn't fit. Like I don't fit. I'm not happy. I don't make the company better when I do that. So I'm like, I just need to figure it out. So it's like, I feel like as a business owner, you don't really have a choice. Like if you're a true business owner, this is what you're born to do, and you just figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's the bold move for sure.
Yeah. It's funny. Like there's myself included, like being stuck in an office like all day is really difficult. And I think also too, like I have ADHD, and I've
Same.
got my mind is constantly going, and if I am not like interested in whatever I'm doing, then it's like forget about it. Like, but for me, like coding and like web design or development, marketing, stuff like that, I will go all in, and I will hyper focus, and all of a sudden it's like 1, 2 in the morning, and I'm like still working on that sort of thing. So that's the kind of job I want. That's what you
for sure. Yeah, same here.
Which is why you got into social media, content and management and everything.
I'm exactly like that, but with marketing and social media.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I talk to a lot of people that are usually, can you kind of share like some. Because like the social media marketing part is really interesting. Like, can you kind of walk us through like a typical client and like kind of like what you do for them, and like how that, like the results, how it grows their business, just kind of like maybe like a case study or anything. I'm just kind of really curious about that part of what you do.
Sure. So there are several different clients that I can work with. I can work online, and I can go like in person and film content. So it could be just a strategy that I write out for you, and like what to do. You could be anywhere in the world. Or you could be here in Arizona and you want video content because, like, for example, my dental client, I have a dental clinic right now that I'm working with. They need content every day. They're like, we want to grow. We know the importance of it. It's, branding, awareness, all that. And I'm there every week, several times a week. I'm filming their cases, their smile deliveries, and I film them talking to the camera. So I come in with the, like a list of what I want them to talk about, and they just sit in front of the camera, like just like I do here, and they talk about it, and I edit it, and I deliver, I post. That also includes for them ads. So like I also, create ad content, and that's honestly a whole nother story. So like organic and ads are two different things. But I create ads, I post them, I track what's performing, I get them leads, and that's like a full-time thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's crazy. I'm curious, like, what kind of tools do you use? Because like there's a lot of like technology out there, you know, like software applications and stuff that are available to people. And I'm just kind of curious, are there any like, you know, this tool is like absolutely amazing, you've got to try this, like any type of tools like that?
Like equipment wise?
Yeah, maybe equipment, but like from like the software side, you know, how there's so many like apps out there now that can do stuff. Like, is there anything in particular you use for like editing or for sharing or content posting, like things like that?
I love CapCut. Like, I know, like, you know, I just love it. It's like simple. I do know a little bit of a Premiere Pro and I'm trying to figure it out. It's just, to me, it's a little more complicated. It's not worth the time. I need it quick. I need it. Like, CapCut can deliver very good quality results right now, like where it's at. And I know like tons of people use it. As far as like posting content, I'm a believer in manual posting, like, because I am like a quality freak and I need everything to be where I want it to be. And I believe in some conspiracy theories on like how Instagram likes when you put text in there manually. So you're using Instagram font like inside, so like it gives it a little more like SEO recognition. It might be like a conspiracy theory, but I believe in it. I think it works in my experience. Okay.
That's funny. I use CapCut too, and I just recently started using it because I was like using iMovie, you know, for a long time ago for little stuff. And then I started using DaVinci Resolve, which was pretty complicated. I started messing around with Premiere Pro and I'm like, there's so many different settings. And I think if like you're making like a big movie and you need like a lot of like stuff, I think that's great. I think for what you and I do, like CapCut is amazing because like I can throw it in there and just do some quick things. I think it's really interesting, like especially on your phone. Like there's a lot of stuff you can just do on your phone with the CapCut phone app, because I use both like the phone and the desktop. But yeah, I really like that. Have you ever heard of a software application called Vubli, Vubli? So it's interesting. It's kind of like a poster, like not a poster, but like it posts your content, but you can upload your video and then it will basically create like a description, a title, tags, and then it's almost like manually doing it because you still have to go through and like review it, but you can adjust each one. So every platform can have its own content and it's all different. And then when you post it, then it posts it, but you can also schedule it, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I didn't know if you knew of anything like that, because I'm testing out some other stuff and I'm not liking a lot of them.
There's tons of different video editing, and AI is going like next level. So yeah. I'm just thinking about making my own because I don't like all the stuff that I'm seeing, but that is crazy.
Sign me up. Awesome. So it like when we talk about like, you know, our lives and going through stuff, usually like there's this breaking point or like, you know, this spark. Like what finally pushed you to kind of like take, you know, the risk? Like, because when you talked about like moving over to the US, like that's a big thing. And I know you were coming over here to like, you know, study and stuff. Like what was there anything that just kind of like, yeah, I got to do this, I got to move? Or like even when you were here and you were trying to work and you were going into business, like was there like, what was it? Was there something that was just like, yep, I got to do it? Like was that big thing that moved you?
Well, the move over here was like really because of the relationships, and like we needed to figure something out. But in terms of business, I would say that's where like I felt something similar to that. Again, I felt like I kind of don't have a choice. Like I don't want to be miserable at a job, and I know I have a skill. I love I'm obsessed with marketing, like in a bad way. So this is what I want to do. This is what I'm researching at 2 a.m. And it's like kind of like there is no choice and I have to do it. And yes, it's scary. And mind you, I grew up in a post-communist country, which means like teaches you from very young age, you have no rights, you have no opinion, you cannot speak up. Like I would go to musical school that like you can't dress up like in bright colors, you can't like paint your nails, like you have many restrictions in like expressing yourself. And moving here, it's very different over here. So and I'm still learning how to like be comfortable in like being seen, and that has a lot to do with content as well, and building a business, like getting out there and networking. So it's a constant like work, and in terms of like I'm still pushing myself to do that. And yeah, like it's still kind of hard, to be honest. Like even being here and doing this, it's like out of my comfort zone. But like you kind of get used to being out of your comfort zone. You're like, okay, I'm just uncomfortable. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like you get used to being uncomfortable and like believing in your nervous system that it's like, it's okay. Nobody's going to kill me. I'm not dying.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fine. You're going to survive this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. How do you normally get your business? Like, how do you generate for your clients?
It's usually like word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like I usually get good results, and people just refer me, or somebody's asked, like, "Oh, who does your social media?" But yeah, I have like right now I'm fully booked, so I cannot physically accept anyone else. I'm not advertising. Sometimes I would put out like advertisement, like I do for my clients. But yeah, right now I am personally focusing on like online presence and just having a brand built for myself, because like I do it for other people, but when it comes to me, I'm like, it's okay. Like I'll just sit here in the shade. So and I feel all the struggles that my clients go through, because it's like being in front of the camera, and like I tell them to be like loud, controversial, all that. And like when it comes to me, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. I tell you to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it myself. So like, yeah, there's a lot to it.
That's funny. Yeah. I think we all do that. Even I had the longest time, like, just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good thing to have, like be fully booked. Like you're being busy and generating. That's good. That's awesome. Gosh. So I'm curious, the clients that you have, like what kind of results have you seen? Like what kind of growth? Like have they gone from like, zero engagement and activity to like now they have like 1 billion followers? I'm not saying 1 billion, but you know what I mean? Like is there like some metrics or anything that you can share as far as kind of business has seen?
Yes, absolutely. So it's hard to track, especially with organic social media. It is like if anybody tells you like I'll get you, I don't know, several sales, like a number of sales from organic social media, that's complete BS. Like you can't track, but it's really hard to track, because like somebody watches your reel and 6 months later they buy something from you. How do you track that?
Mm-hmm.
So I do have like the metrics of views, followers, engagement, clicks to the website. In terms of ads, that's easy. This is where you track. So this is why I usually recommend to do both organic and ad together, because like organic grows your audience like in an organic way, and then you use that organic audience to advertise to, because those people like engaged with your content, and then you just show them the offers that you have. But yeah, in terms of results, got like close to 50,000 followers on one account that is just completely like a speaking like coach. Actually, my Buddhist teacher, he's amazing. And with a dental clinic, it's all like leads. So like they just get tons of leads through ads. And we're testing constantly. So there's another thing with like you have to be constantly testing when it comes to organic and ads. I see many people who just like marketers who just create one ad creative and just run it for a year straight and nothing changes.
Wow.
And that's like kind of like a very, very bad practice. That's not a good marketing. It's like has to be always like evolving and changing. So you test, and then you make an educated guess, and you move forward and you test again. And that's really what marketing is.
What's what platform do you find performs like the best?
Both. Like I had some good success on TikTok. Like if we're talking organic, like I mean TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all that. I mean honestly, Facebook kind of like a little weird to me. Like I don't get Facebook that well. But I would say like TikTok is great for organic growth, especially if you have like a little bit of a personality. That's awesome. And if it's like more like personable content. Instagram is probably my like main like go-to in terms of also organic, but it changes, like the algorithm now. But yeah, I mean, all of them. And I feel like you should be absolutely putting out content on like all 4, maybe 5 platforms, like LinkedIn right now with short videos. There too, like you just have to be doing all of it, because then you have more opportunity to actually hit like a bigger audience.
Yeah, that's like a common thing that I've been hearing is you got to touch on all of them. You can't really just focus on one or 2 platforms. It's funny you laughed at Facebook, because it's like it seems like all the old people now are on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like I have a couple nieces, and they're like in their 20s, and they're like, Facebook, like no one uses Facebook. I think I think they finally got, or at least one of my nieces got a Facebook just to be connected to the rest of the family, because everyone else is like on there. That's so funny. Like, do you see like TikTok being the one to like just kind of explode over the next couple of years?
You know, that's tricky, especially with everything that's going on, and especially just happened with TikTok. In terms of the algorithm, for sure. Like the algorithm is amazing. This is why Instagram is copying everything that's happening on TikTok. Very good for discoverability, very good for getting reach. The thing with TikTok is it's like, as I said, it's more like personable. So you do have to show your face. Like if you're planning on posting like boring static posts, like I don't know, go to LinkedIn, but it's not gonna work anywhere anyway. But yes, absolutely, for like face like content and like relatable content, TikTok is the go-to. Instagram is getting there too, but it's kind of like a little slower, and it's a little more kind of like Instagram kind of like wears a suit, when TikTok is like baggy t-shirt, that kind of stuff. But it's both of them, Instagram and TikTok, they're great for discoverability, for like lots of potential to go viral. I have tons of like videos that went viral on both platforms. A little bit of YouTube. It's also like hit or miss, but yes, I focus on those 2, TikTok and Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because I'm seeing more and more like small businesses, even big businesses too, but a lot of businesses like getting on there. And I'm glad to see like different content, you know what I mean? Like not just the stuffy commercial type thing, you know, like, but just like funny stuff, you know, stupid stuff, you know, stuff that's just kind of quirky and unique. And it seems like TikTok just really shines on that type of content. Do you usually recommend your clients to kind of go that direction, like when they create stuff?
Like being like more open-minded. Yes, absolutely. Have you seen the recent Hyundai advertisement with cats? It's hilarious.
No.
It's oh my God. This is like everything you need to know about advertising. It's like super weird, like animation with cats and like the car there. It's like so like not on brand, and this is why it performs so well. Like it got them, I don't lie, it was like 20 million views, like when they usually get like 20,000, you know. So it's like you know, this is there's always this fine line, especially with big brands, like if we're talking about like dental clinic or med spa, or even like something corporate, like how far are you willing to go for good engaging content and views. And not many businesses want to go like a step out of their box. Like they want to be like, let's be serious. We want to be perceived as serious. I don't want to post anything silly. And it's like, sure, nobody's going to watch that. Like, okay.
Exactly. You're just, you're not going to be having any viewers. That's so funny. Anything with a cat in it is going to do well. And it's so funny you said that, because like I was editing a video the other day, and my son, he's like showing interest and he wants to like edit stuff. And I'm like, okay. But he was like saying, Dad, you should just put a cat in your picture. Like if you get a cat, you'll get millions of views. And I'm like,
very true.
I'm like, what? And then you're saying it too. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, maybe he's onto something here. I'm like, that's funny.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh. I'm seriously considering trying that, actually. That might be pretty interesting.
You know, it's just entertainment. Like, you got to think, like, social media is for, you don't get on Instagram to buy something. Like, oh, I wonder if I can buy something today. You want to be entertained. You want to relax. You had a long day at work and you want to scroll some cats. And then if you happen to see a car in there, you're like, whoa, that's a cool, weird, like, something that's, like, breaks the pattern is a great ad. So
that's interesting. I don't go on there like planning or thinking I'm going to buy something, but I will admit I have.
Exactly.
I'm like looking at something. I'm like, that's really cool. I'm like, I could actually use something like that. And I'm like, how, but somebody posted a video and they did the thing, and it's just amazing all the different types of content. Because I think social selling, like, because I follow Gary Vee a lot, and he talks about it, and I don't know if it'll get to the level that China and over there are at, because they're on a different level. I mean, if you've seen the social selling there, I mean, stuff sells like that, and they're going through it. Yeah. But I think in a way like that, I think that's picking up here, and more people are probably going to be buying things after they see a review of somebody using the thing, and they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what, because that's what we want to see. You know, we want to see it being used, and like, I think though, like, there's going to be a line of like, okay, how authentic is this? You know, like, are they really like liking this, or are they just trying to sell it to me? You know?
Yeah,
like
exactly. With the reviews, that's always the problem, especially now with affiliate links.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious, like, what was some of the like toughest challenges or maybe even doubts that you had, like that you were trying to overcome early on?
I would say like my confidence levels, for sure. Not being confident in myself, being like scared to even speak up. Like when you move from another country, when you have to learn a different language in order to just survive in a new country, that's like a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. And with me also was like very like heavy, difficult, non-supportive relationships, whereas like he was the only person I would rely on, and I would not get support there. So it was awful. It was pretty bad. So I had nobody to rely on but myself, and just figuring it out, and just, you know, like it was tough. It was really tough. So like, as like you asking me what like moved me, what triggered me, like I literally feel like I have no choice. I could have just like sat there and like crumbled and like fall apart, but like, and that's not a choice, you know, so I have to do something. And like starting a business with all that, like it was pretty crazy, pretty difficult. You know, like in the beginning, I didn't know how to like go to a post office and how to send something, or like what who do I talk to? What do I say? Like, it's just like Russia and America, like it's completely two different worlds. Like it's insane. You should go sometime later. But yeah, it's getting out of your shell, and just like, you're going to be seen, you're going to be perceived, people are going to think their thoughts about you, and that's okay. And it's literally my whole like thing right now, even after all that, like that happened like 3 years ago. But even now, like I have like the post trauma and like some like autoimmune stuff because of like how much stress that caused me. But just being like, it's okay. Like you self-talk and like self-parenting and a lot of like therapy and like shadow work and all that stuff. It just needs to happen if you want to be like successful in business. And I see that with my clients, like it's crazy the way it is connected, like your inner stuff connected to what's going on in your professional world, and how my clients like have changed. Like my dental clinic, like I love them. Like I want to hang out with them all day long. They're amazing. They appreciate me. I appreciate them. And there's like this new level of relationship between like clients, just because like I feel like I learned how to appreciate myself a little more, you know, through all that. And that's what I see reflected in my professional world as well. Wow.
That's crazy. Like being here all by yourself, because your family is not here. And wow, yeah, that takes a lot of resilience to be able to overcome that.
There's no plan B. That's the thing. I mean, going back, but that was never a plan for me, you know.
You mentioned two different worlds. Like what were some of the like the things that stuck out to you the most from comparing, you know, like how Russia and US do things? Like you mentioned like post office, like, you know, what are some of the things that just kind of are core memories for you right now?
I guess, you know, when people come to America for the first time, and I'm sure many immigrants would agree, you feel like you're in the movie, because like there's tons of movies, like in all the streets, all the like everything is just like, wow, now I'm in it. Like, because this is how I saw America before, like only through movies. So that's the first like experience, like, and people are so nice. I remember I used to tell my ex-husband, I'm like, they're smiling all the time. Like, what the heck? I'm like, why is that? And it's nice. Like, it's just so unusual when you like first come here. But then when I go back to Russia, I'm like, you people are mean. Like, what's wrong with you? So it's just a different personality. And I don't think that like Russians are mean or unfriendly. I feel like it's more it's like absolutely has to do with like post-communism and how like you're not supposed to have anything. And if you have any, like everybody suffered pretty much. So like it was like the whole country of suffering, but nobody's allowed to speak up. And that's why everybody's sad. They were just like deeply suffering, you know. And if somebody's smiling, it means you have something. Like you got something, and I'm not telling you, or because you have something that I don't have it. Like why are you so happy? Everybody else is miserable. So I feel like that's why smiling is kind of like weird.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's changing now. It's kind of like used to be like 10 years ago. But yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. It's like tipping somebody off like that you've got something that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. What was Arizona like your first spot? So you didn't go anywhere else in the US?
I mean, I did later on, but my first, like Tucson actually was the first airport, and then they took us straight to Diamond Mountain. Diamond Mountain is the retreat center, like in the middle of desert, where you're supposed to just meditate in solitude. So there is nothing. So my first, and I think we arrived like at night. So it was like, I'm in the middle of the desert. I'm like, okay, this is America. Interesting. There's like nothing. That was my first impression. But then, yeah.
Now, if you would have landed in like New York somewhere, where New Yorkers tend to be known more for people that are like a little more direct and just quick and maybe not so friendly, which I've been there a couple times, and it's true. There's like people, it's not when I'm used to like more friendly people. When I went to New York a couple times, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? People almost running people over on the cars. I'm like, that's weird.
It's also like a big city mentality. So like I'm from Moscow. It's the same thing, you know. It's like big city. You don't have time for any, BS. You just do your thing. Yeah.
I think I went out to my hotel, and I went to this restaurant. It wasn't even like a restaurant. It's like a walk-in thing. You go up to the counter, and the dude was like, "Hey, buddy, what do you want?" And I'm like, "I'll take that, like,
please,
lobster thingy sandwich, please." Like, I was like, I'd never been asked, like that. It was very rough and like direct. And I was like, okay, like this is how they do things here. That's just funny.
But did you get your sandwich?
I did.
You did.
I did. Yeah. And then I went back up to my room, and I'm like, I'm going to eat it up there. I'm curious. So like, there's usually like a turning point in our life. Like, what was like this breakthrough moment? Like, what like finally like clicked for you? Like, okay, like this is happening. Like this is working. Like I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Was there like that moment for you, that breakthrough moment?
I would say like probably recently, like 6 months ago, I pretty much like have had to like finish my relationship with all my past clients. And just because mentally I wasn't okay. I was making really good money. I had like lots of clients, but it wasn't like, it's hard to explain. I guess like we'll go back to the woo-woo stuff, it's like what's happening inside of you like happens outside of you. So yeah, and I had to just like stop doing everything, and it was very scary. So I just took 3 months to myself. I didn't work. I didn't do like anything like, efficient, proactive to get clients. And it was very scary. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's like, just doing the inner work, and then like finding the like, okay, what it is that I want to do, what clients do I want to have, who do I want to work with, and what can I give them? And like starting there with like feeling calm in your nervous system and then your body, and just starting there. Like I feel like that has to be like the ground zero for everyone. And business is stressful. Like you cannot rely on anybody by yourself. Like saying my story again. So you have to have that support within you to be like, I don't have to be like successful to be somebody. I don't have to, like, I exist, and that's enough, and that's good, and I don't need to do anything else. So like, and because like, when you're trying to advertise, you come across desperate, and that's the worst thing I feel like you can do for your marketing, when you're like, okay, I'll do it for 50% off, 60, 70, just do it. It's like, it's icky, and you don't want to, like, this is like why I feel like you do need that, like, inner support, inner strength, and then you can go and do business and help people, because you can actually focus on them, not on what you need and what you need help with, and like the money you need or any of that.
Yeah. I think just like psychologically, we turn away from like desperation, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny you were saying you were totally booked up on clients, and I was like thinking, oh man, like, because I was like thinking of so many different businesses. Like I even know our business, could use social media, and I was like, oh man, just booked. Okay, I got to get on the calendar or something. Like, so it's like that same thing. I think a lot of people can adopt into their marketing, like don't be so desperate. I think even as a salesperson, you come across desperate. They're like, okay, I don't want what you're buying, but you come across totally opposite. Like, I don't even know if I can help you, like then it comes across a little bit more, I guess, authentic or not needy, it's
exactly.
like even in relationships, like if you come across as, desperate and like not going to happen, you're not going to get that date probably, like most likely. I'm curious if you were to like sit down with a version of yourself, like right before you took your big leap of faith, like what would you say to that past version of yourself?
That's a very good question. Oh my God. Honestly, like right now, I would say that like you did everything right. Like there is nothing that I'd be like, oh, you should have done that or changed that, or like don't do that. And this is like the mentality that honestly I want to keep. Like I used to be like, oh, I should have done, like I used to like, think of like what I should have done like for days after, I don't know, an event or something. And it's just so unhelpful. It's not going to change anything. So I just feel like I'm grateful for where I am right now. All that struggle brought me here, and I'm happy. Like I have a great business, I have a great relationships. I'm pretty much healthy, like everything is like, it really worked out and I really strongly feel like if you choose yourself and like what you really believe in, if you're honest with yourself, that's what's going to get you places. Like if you have an idea of how you should be and how successful you should be or what clients you need, like that's not going to get you anywhere. And it's kind of like going to make you look desperate and going to make you look like frustrated and feel awful. But that belief in yourself that you're going to be there when the time is right, you're doing everything you need to do, and just like relaxing in that is seriously like the biggest thing for me right now.
When we look at like all the bold moves and everything that we take, usually, well, not usually, sometimes they can like reshape how we define like what winning is, or success. How, if any, how has your definition of success changed because of this journey that you've been on?
Oh my God, tremendously. Like of course I thought like being successful means like having tons of money and like, flying business class and going on trips every month, and like money was the definition of success. And right now, it's just being able to do my morning meditation, being able to be quiet, being able to have my own schedule. And if I don't feel like working, I don't work. And that's, oh my God, that's like, and then being happy and fulfilled with that, that's success. And I feel very successful right now. And I'm so grateful for that.
That's interesting because like for an ADHD brain, like, and even like I think the term is ADHD, like where it's some autism, some ADHD, and it's a little bit of both. I've been watching some TikTok videos, like kind of explaining it. I'm like, that explains a lot. I'm like, yep, ding. But it's funny because the like dopamine levels in your brain, like if they could be up or they could be down. And we're constantly chasing that. And then sometimes we need to recharge because we're overloaded. It's I think key to find a job that kind of is suited to that brain chemistry, like that, what's going on. Because if we're locked into a traditional 9 to 5 where you got to clock in, clock out, do something you don't like, it's just not going to work. And I've tried it and I failed. And it's only when I find positions like you're doing, where, okay, I want to work and I'm doing these things. And it's not like, oh, I want to be lazy. It's like, we'll work till like 2 a.m. doing stuff. It's different times, you know what I mean? And we'll put in more than 40 hours a week. Mm-hmm. It's just in different times, like I'll skip a day where I'm just like, I need to recharge, but then the next day I'm working like 18 hours, So it's just interesting that you found that, because that's key. I would just say, and I don't know, there's probably a few people listening that are not in that position where they have those things going on and they're like, why is it not clicking? Like, why is it? Yeah, that's a good call out. Sure. So I definitely think that's awesome. Yeah. So even like the most boldest people out there, they've got moves that, they haven't really made yet. So what's the next bold move that you're kind of still a little hesitant or scared to take, and like really what's holding you back?
Oh man, it's definitely working on my own branding, my own content. Like, I'm very great at advising people and telling them what to do, and it works. Like, for my clients, it works. Like, I give them recommendations, they do that, and it works. But for myself, like, do I really need to do the same thing? Like, getting in front of the camera, talking, getting low views. Here's where all the like ego stuff, like, oh, I don't want to do this, like, it's not working. And this is where I am right now. Like, I'm working on it, and I don't get, like, my clients' accounts getting like much higher views than my own. I'm inconsistent. I'm not following my own instructions on how to do this, but it's a big thing, like the fear of being perceived, yeah. That's what's stopping me right now, and this is what I'm working on. And I'm, the same thing we're talking about, like getting some rest and believing in your nervous system that you're going to be okay. Nobody's going to eat you if you post a video. Like, you're not going to be attacked by a tiger or anything, but that's literal, like the literal body response. And yeah. I now feel it for my clients, because I'm like, come on, like, you can do this, just talk to the camera. And when I'm in front of that camera, I'm like, damn, I don't know.
That's funny. Well, I mean, you're taking like that first step now, like being on a podcast and being on camera and, sharing it. So that's a step.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you're doing to kind of like push you into that direction?
Yeah. So I did improv.
Oh.
It was horrible. It was so scary. I stopped for a little bit just because I need a little break, but it was so great. Especially doing improv in a second language. Oh my God. Like, every time I walked out of there, I felt like I'm about to have an aneurysm. It's like a next level of, and this is where you can really check if you're fluent in your second language, because you don't have time to think at all. Like, there is no, you just go for it. And you're looking stupid. And in my like acting studio, that would film it, and they're like, you should watch yourself. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to watch that, because like they watch your performance and like you can see it on the video. Oh, it's so scary, especially for someone like me, but it was super helpful. It's like, again, telling your body you're gonna be fine if like you're gonna do weird stuff on video and in front of people. And see, nobody died. Whoa. And it's like, every time it's like a learning process to be like, okay, we survived that. Awesome. It's very scary.
What studio did you go to?
I might mispronounce it. Daring, something like that. Yes. Okay. It's like in northern Phoenix. They're really great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to them. It's
no, I know of them.
Really?
So I've done some acting.
Awesome.
Haven't been doing it lately, but I took some classes for the longest time, and I even had like quite a few auditions at Deering Studio up there.
So cool.
But I know a lot of actors in the community, and I know quite a few of them that study over there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, improv is different than like, scene study acting and everything. And it's something that I would say can definitely help you like just in general, like even out, if you don't plan to like act or do like comedy or anything like that, just the general improv like skill is super beneficial. Like it's just insane. I was surprised because I took acting classes for like, I think 7 years or something like that, and 5 or 7 years. And the growth from day one to the end, not just like acting in general, but just communicating and interacting with people, is just mind blowing. And I always recommend people in sales, especially, or even businesses, like go take an acting class here or there. Like it's not going to kill you, but just kind of like experiment with that and get out of your comfort zone, you know, like you were talking about, and you'll see some differences in how you like talk to people and how you feel when you talk to people, because that changes too, which is like wild.
Absolutely.
But how long ago was it that you took the improv class?
Like a few months ago.
Okay, so fairly recent.
It was very recent, yes. And it absolutely, like all that you're saying is so true, and it definitely, like after that you don't feel that scared to do stuff, because like that was the scariest part. The scariest thing I did this week. The rest is fine. You know, the rest is like podcasting, videos, all good, as long as I don't have to do this for the rest of the week.
My guest I had on last week, Becky Jo Harris, she was in my first acting studio that I went to, and now she's really good at improv. She went to the Groundlings in LA, which is like a really big improv studio that a lot of famous comedian actors like went to, and she's just really good. She's really comedic, and she can really put a spin on things. So if you ever look her up, you should try to connect with her. Like she's really cool. She's a cool person. Awesome. But yeah, that'd be fun. Do you plan or have like any like desire to do like improv or acting or anything like that? Like more than just take the class?
Maybe acting, but it's kind of self-development thing for me, for sure. For like working on the confidence, working on like being able to put yourself out there, like seeing that you're not going to be like eaten by anybody, like the working with the fear. That's the main purpose for me, for sure.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. If you're looking for an acting studio, I'm just going to throw a plug in there. I went to the Howie Acting Studio. It's in Mesa. It was originally run by the late Bill Howie. He did pass away, but his wife is running the studio now. She's doing an amazing job because she knows everything that Bill knew. But they come from LA, and they taught actors, all the famous actors you can think of. Like I'm not going to name drop or anything, other than their son, Steve Howie. I don't know if you probably saw him if you've seen like Shameless. He was on Shameless. He's on the new True Lies spinoff show that's on CBS. He was also on Reba. He was Van on Reba. So I remember that watching as a kid. But he's done some cool stuff, and he'll come into the studio every once in a while to kind of like talk to the students and stuff. But very serious scene study class. Like it's not usually for those that just kind of want to like have fun. It's like if you want to be a working actor and you want to learn some skills, like that's the place to do it. And I seriously got some solid like feedback when I was going through stuff, and it again kind of just changed me a little bit. But
that's awesome.
just in your back pocket, it's down the road. Absolutely. If you ever plan on doing it. Yeah, I'll connect you and Carla. She's the owner there. But so just a couple quick fire questions. What's your favorite book or your favorite podcast or really any resource out there that inspires you to be bold?
So I got 2 books. First is by the meditation Buddhist teacher that I mentioned, Michael Roach. The book is The Diamond Cutter. Amazing book for just kind of like how to live your life and how helping others make you happy. And it's like the real actual cause of happiness. For me, that worked. And I love the book. I love the author. And the second one, Tuesdays with Maury. And that's a recent book that I read. It's kind of like if you're more on the depressed side of the world right now, it's amazing. It really kind of like opens your heart, and also has to do a lot with like principles in life and maybe even a little bit in business. But it's very inspiring.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
It would have to be give what you want to get in all areas, in relationships, in business especially. I would say that's very big for business.
Mm-hmm. How would you encourage someone to be bolder today?
I would probably say like set your goals. And if being bold for you means like, having time for yourself, and that's a bold move, it could be, some people are so busy, they don't have time for themselves. But for me, it's always been my goals. So like set your goals. Like I do want to have a big online presence. I do want to have a personal brand. And this is why I'm doing all of this. So just focusing on that. It might be, kind of like a regular advice everybody would give you, but it's true. That's what's been working for me for sure.
Okay. And if you had to choose one word to define what boldness means to you, what would that one word be?
Resilience, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I would agree with that. Cool. So how can people get a hold of you? How can they find you? How can they connect with you?
Well, I have social media accounts that I'm currently growing. But to prove you that I know what I'm talking about, I can show you my clients' accounts, okay? Because they have really great results. But yeah, I'm on social media. I'm up in North Phoenix. I am filming with my clients, and I'm like working on getting more of a community up there, business owners, and I'm always down to hang out and network and have a coffee and all that.
Very cool. Well, you are also going to have a guest page on the Bold Moves website, which is boldmovespodcastaz.com. So there'll be a special page for you there, and you'll have your headshot and your links and your bio and all that cool stuff. So if anyone needs to reach you, they can always go there if they don't know how to find your socials, which I think they should, because he's pretty easy to find. But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and kind of share your journey. It's been amazing. I think this was like some great information and knowledge that you had to share with some of our listeners. And yeah, I'm really excited to see your business grow and to see you get more film exposure and all of that cool stuff. But yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Matthew. Like amazing. Loved your questions. Loved the
Awesome.
atmosphere and everything. Thank you.
Cool. No, very cool. All right, guys, that has been a wrap for the Bold Moves podcast with Mrs. Arina Tannenbaum.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in to Bold Moves with Matt Torres, where we celebrate Arizona's fiercest innovators, risk takers, and dreamers. We hope this episode sparked fresh ideas and fueled your courage to take action. Remember, real change begins with that first brave step. Stay connected for behind-the-scenes insights, exclusive episodes, and community updates. Follow us on social media to share your journey. For more inspiration, resources, and connections, visit boldmovespodcastaz.com. Until next time, keep daring, keep dreaming, and keep making bold moves wherever you are.